trying to predict the future is a discouraging and hazardous occupation. If by some miracle a prophet could describe the future exactly as it was going to take place, his predictions would sound so absurd, so far-fetched, that everybody would laugh him to scorn. Only if what I tell you appears absolutely unbelievable, have we any chance of visualizing the future as it really will happen. The only thing we can be sure of about the future is that it will be absolutely fantastic.
A very warm welcome to Puebla, south-central Mexico, for the second act of this weekend's doubleheader. Round 9 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship is just a few minutes away. We're just 30 minutes away from going green again here in Puebla. Yesterday's race was just sheer disappointment for Porsche's Pascal Fellaini, but elation for Audi Sport Abt Scheffler with a 1-2 on the podium. Can they repeat? Who knows, but I'll tell you what will be the same: the excitement, the drama, the adrenaline from here in Mexico.
Round 8 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship, and there was drama from the off for Nissan E-Dact behind pole sitter Pascal Fellaini.
Oh, it's a bad start from Roland. Roland's going nowhere.
After technical issues on the start line for Oliver Rowland, Envision Virgin Racing's Nick Cassidy was the next casualty, hitting the wall on the opening lap. Two championship leaders then came to blows as fellow Envision Virgin driver Robin Freins collided with the Mercedes of Nick de Vries into turn 11. Puebla's unique attack mode activation zone offered up plenty of action, with both Jean-Eric Verne and Sam Bird's races ending early at the same spot. Jake Dennis and Max Günther were in the running for a double podium before a late attack mode lunge by Dennis backfired and both BMWs dropped behind the leading pack.
The fight for second place, Degrassi through.
A renaissance for Audi Sport Abt Scheffler as Lucas Degrassi and René Rast both passed Rocket Venturi's Eduardo Mortara for second and third. But Tag Heuer Porsche's race leader was not quite home and dry.
Pascal Fellaini, race leader, under investigation for a technical infraction. That is big news for the story of the race.
The German crossed the line for what looked like a first Formula E win ahead of the two Audis.
We're just waiting to hear what has happened on that investigation.
Fellaini is disqualified. Technical infringement. Yeah!
Degrassi elated at a third win in Mexico ahead of Rast and Mortara in the final podium positions. After all the madness in Mexico, the Drivers' Championship is on a nice edge after round 8 in Puebla, with everything still up for grabs going into Sunday's race.
I'm joined on the grid by a man who's made his mark on many a wall during his IndyCar career, Dario Franchitti. Yesterday was special, wasn't it? The track did everything that it was supposed to do, as advertised.
Yeah, it put on a great show, didn't it? And it was very difficult to follow, actually. There was so much action. Attack mode activations did a great job. The battles back and forwards, and then up front, Pascal Fellaini was just serene in the way he was dominating the field.
Let's talk about that. He got disqualified for something that can only be called a clerical error. What does that mean? Because so much disappointment in that Porsche garage.
Yeah, there was something to do with the tyre, numbers on the side of the tyre. They had to put it into a certain box on the computer screen. They put it into the wrong box, basically. So had no performance advantage at all. And even the teams who were, benefited from his plight yesterday, even they said, it's not right, it's absolutely not right. So he's looking to make amends today, starting second on the grid. So watch for him and the Porsche guys to have been attacking all day.
Yeah, I think that's what was really disappointing, is that it was an error and a disqualification for something that didn't affect his performance. It wasn't like they changed the tyres, it wasn't like they retreaded them, it was just a clerical error, typing error, basically.
Here's a point as well. They made him do the.
McNish.
McNish has just stolen my sunglasses.
Yeah,
they made him drive the whole race before they disqualified him. They knew from the start of the race there was a problem. What happened if he'd have crashed? He was putting his life on the line without being too dramatic. and the car on the line, so disappointing. And the FIA, I think, they need to fix this issue, need to rewrite the rules a bit, which I think they will.
We go from disappointment in the Porsche garage to elation in the Audi garage. I mean, Lucas and Rene on top of the podium, 1 and 2. Get in there, my friend. Let's have a picture. Come on. I think that's the fella from Back to the Future. The dot.
It looks like it, did it?
There you go. Yeah, total disappointment. Sorry, total elation in the Audi garage.
Oh, absolutely right. And they've been the victim before of having wins taken away from them for things like that. So it was nice for them to see it. It was good for Lucas Degrassi. And, you know, even they said, oh, no, maybe not right.
All right, let's go over to Jack Nicholls, who's with, I think he's with an engineer from the Porsche team. We'll find out more.
Yeah, this is Kyle Wilson-Clark, who's Pascal Fellaini's race engineer. Kyle, just really quickly on yesterday, obviously tough to take. How tough was it to sort of tell Pascal over the radio what had happened?
Yeah, it's pretty heartbreaking. He's done an amazing job. We've done a lot of our homework back home. We've come here with a strong car. Qualifying was obviously fantastic. In the race, he just dominated. So, yeah, it was hard to say those words out loud, indeed.
And how many times have you triple-checked your tyre allocation for today?
It's been done, I'm sure. I trust the guys doing the job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday's dominance, though, it must give you confidence for today, right? Because you just do what you did yesterday and you're going to get a good result, or is it not as simple as that?
It sounds very easy. Yeah. In practice, it doesn't quite work like that. Things fall in your lap sometimes. The attack mode for us worked out very, very well. We made the right call at very short notice, and that worked out very well for us. Those opportunities might not arise in the same way, but you make your own luck as well, and you're there and you stay clean and hopefully have a good race.
Was it tough to pick Pascal back up after yesterday?
Not at all. He was buzzing. He was on good form. Obviously, with such a good performance, how can't you be happy with that? And P2 front row again, can't be complaining with that.
Okay, good luck with the race. Thank you very much for joining us, Carl. So it's going to be a really, really interesting race for Pascal Fellaini, starting here second. Now, he won the race yesterday, or at least was first across the line. That disqualification promoted Audi to a 1-2. It was a really, really impressive drive from Lucas Degrassi and Rene Rast. They're going to have a more difficult job today because they're starting a little bit further back in the order. Degrassi has already moved up into the top 10 in the championship, though, with that win yesterday. And earlier on today, the winner from Puebla E-Prix yesterday spoke to Nikki Shields.
All right, well, joining me now is the man of the moment, Lucas Degrassi. How does it feel having won in Mexico for a third time? This is obviously a place that gives you lots of good luck because the first half of the season had been a real challenge for you.
Yeah, we've been fast every race, but very happy to have won this race here in Mexico for the third time. It's a dream come true, but it just represents how much hard work all the team has put in the background. And yeah, hopefully it's a turnaround for us in the championship. We can score good points and fight for the title. That's why we're here for.
Now, obviously, it was a huge disappointment for Pascal Fellaini. You can kind of speak from experience because that's actually happened to you in previous years, actually in Mexico. Can you relate to how he must be feeling right now?
So yeah, I know how Pascal feels. He did a fantastic race yesterday. Nothing I can say about. There are rules, and sometimes you benefit from them, sometimes you lose from them. And yesterday was our day, so I feel sorry for him, but I have to be happy for the team here.
So back here, starting afresh, new day. What's the plan?
Well, the plan is to, like always, try to do the best qualifying possible, and then attack in the race. Try to repeat yesterday. Try to have a very good rhythm and push from lap 1.
All right, well, it's brilliant because it really now does put you and Audi back in contention for the championship title fight. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Lucas Degrassi.
Welcome to the 7th season of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship.
We've reached the halfway point in the season, so it's time to take stock. Let's see who's top of the class, and very much like my old school report cards, who could do better. Let's start with reigning teams champions, DS Techeetah. DS Techeetah, the reigning teams champion, reigning drivers champion with Antonio Felix da Costa. Both drivers this season, Jean-Eric Vergne in Rome.
Jean-Eric Vergne wins the Rome E-Prix.
Yes!
Antonio Felix da Costa in Monaco in sublime fashion.
Da Costa wins in Monaco.
Come down and tell me that I just won.
DS Techeetah take the
They
win.
might not always play nicely on the track together,
They're going to make contact.
Guys, what the is that? Seriously?
but both drivers and this team are serious championship contenders in the second half of the season. Envision Virgin Racing. They're an Audi customer team. At the moment, 5th in the Teams Championship. Robin Freins is leading the Drivers' Championship with a very consistent campaign. He hasn't won a race yet, though.
Robin Freins with that second place moves up into championship contention.
And Freins gets second, does he? Yes! An unreal end to the E-Prix.
Nick Cassidy, rookie season, he's shown some real flashes of speed. Pole position in Rome was a high point, but spinning that advantage away on the first corner was a low point. He needs to turn his undoubted speed into results.
Nick Cassidy leads the way. Cassidy's round.
Oh, just locked to rears. There was no front braking. Mercedes EQ, leading the Teams Championship.
Nick de Vries wins the first race. Stoffel Van Dorn wins the Rome E-Prix. And the checkered flag falls.
That's how you win an FE race.
Nick de Vries won 2 races. Stoffel Van Dorn won 1 race. They are still the team to beat, but they haven't won a race since Valencia a few rounds ago. So they really need to start picking things up if they want to stay in that #1 position. If we were having this chat before the first Puebla race, it would have been a tale of woe for Audi. But a 1-2 finish, Lucas Degrassi winning, René Rast second, takes René Rast to 4th in the points, Lucas Degrassi to 11th.
Lucas Degrassi wins in Mexico.
Finally, Audi have lived up to their potential. Jaguar has got to be one of the strongest driver pairings in Formula E, with Mitch Evans and Sam Bird. Mitch sits 5th in the points, Sam is 7th at the moment, and they're 2nd in the Teams Championship. But their form has dipped of late. They need to pick it back up if they want to fight for the Drivers and the Teams Championship. Me personally, I would give Mitch Evans bonus points for that sublime overtaking manoeuvre up the hill at Beau Rivage in Monaco.
He's going to be all over the back of Da Costa. He's going for it now. Oh,
What a move!
Evans up through Beau Rivage, takes the lead of the Monaco E-Prix.
Good job, good job.
So that's some of the class of 2021. 7 winners in 8 races, and with half the season still to go, it is definitely all to play for.
Fellas, yesterday was disappointing for the Nissan team. Oliver Rowland's on pole position today, but a disqualification for them, for both drivers. How did they pick that up? Because their season's been quite different, hasn't it?
They've had a really strange season. Oliver Rowland has been one of the best qualifiers out there, if not the best. Only 1 race this season he's not started in the top 10, which is absolutely phenomenal. Yesterday, 2nd on the grid, a load of technical problems with the car, both with fan boost, both with the radio, both with the starting procedure, and it all kind of went wrong. But this is the world we're in Formula E. If Oliver Rowland wins the race today, he moves to the top of the championship. Unless the guys, Robin Freins starting in 21st comes up to finish in the points. So that's how quickly it can turn around. And they've had the pace all year. They've brought their new car to Monaco. Now this is the 2nd weekend with it, and Rowland in particular is really getting the best out of it.
Completely different story for Sebastian Buemi, though, former champion, Dario.
Yeah, former champion, and it's just the pace just hasn't been there. They changed a lot of different parts on the car to try and get him more comfortable with it, and it just hasn't worked. His qualifying actually was not bad until they went to the new car, but he's kind of been all at sea since that point. But he's a wily old fox, and I expect him to start picking his way through. But if he's going to turn his championship challenge around to go for the World Championship, he better start it today.
Jack, Pascal Fellaini is just behind him. He's got that cool, calm, collected demeanour. Typical German, really. Just ready for it, and he's ready to perform. But you've been in the garage, you've spoken to Emil Lindsay, team principal. Has it been difficult for those guys to lift themselves for today's race?
I just think because they were so dominant yesterday, and because the infraction that disqualified them was not a sporting issue, I think they must be full of confidence and they must be looking for redemption, because the other part of it, if this lap from Pascal Fellaini in qualifying, good enough for 2nd on the grid, had he won yesterday, he'd have been in Group 1, he'd be starting this race down in 21st position, or 22nd, so it's kind of swings and roundabouts. He's still got a chance of good results today and jumping up the championship order. You have to take your chances when you're starting at the front, and that's where both Rowland and Fellaini missed out yesterday, and they've got a shot at redemption today.
Dario, when we heard that Porsche were going to join Formula E, they did nothing but test. And that yesterday was the performance that we expected from the German team.
Yeah, absolutely right.
It was dominant, nothing else.
Yeah, it was completely dominant, and that's one thing Porsche have done in most branches of motorsport they've gone into. They have dominated. I would never bet against them. In a grid full of amazing teams and manufacturers, never bet against Porsche.
All right, let's go over to Nicky.
Thanks, Vernon. I am down the back of the grid in a bit of a melee of the drivers who are at the top of the championship, including Antonio Felix Costa, who is defending his championship. Antonio, today is going to be a pretty tough day. I mean, you managed to finish in the points yesterday, but right from back here, what can you do?
The same thing, I hope. That obviously is the goal. You know, but I have so many quick guys around. Hopefully, instead of us fighting each other early on, we just, you know, get on with our thing, try and go forwards and then fight it out at the end. I think there's a lot of people out of position. We were super quick yesterday, so it's going to be really interesting, I think.
What did you learn from yesterday? Because, you know, we've spoken to a lot of the drivers and teams and they've really been doing a lot of, like, data analysis. You know, how is it going to change your approach coming into this race?
A few things, you know, to be honest, yesterday I made a few mistakes myself, so if only, you know, I just need to have a clean day, and with the pace that we have, we'll definitely climb up a lot of positions. So, you know, I remember the years where I didn't have the car to go forward, so I do now, so I'll try and have fun with what I have and give the guys a good result.
You've got a fast car, but I mean, so have all the guys around you.
Yeah,
You've got
but it's fine,
Robin Fries, Rene Rast, I think that's Nick De Vries.
They're going to let me pass. They're going to let me go.
Well, fingers crossed for you, they do.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Oh dear, always have to limber up before doing these grid walks. Let's see if we can have a chat with Robin Fries, who is actually, he is still leading the Drivers' Championship, despite the fact that he didn't actually score any points yesterday. Robin, looking, oh gosh, I've got to get down on the floor again. Gonna get my pink suit all dirty.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not made for this. Talk us through, because I mean, this is a bit like deja vu, isn't it? You're at the top of the driver standings, but you're right down back here at the end of the grid.
And yet I'm even further away than I was yesterday. Yesterday I was 20, now I'm 21. Well, I think looking what Stoffel did yesterday, starting from P21 and finishing 5th or 6th, scoring some good points. That's the target, staying out of trouble, which didn't really work out for me yesterday, but let's try again.
Do you think you've got the same pace to match the Mercedes and the DS Techeetah just across there?
I had good pace yesterday, so let's hope we have the same pace as yesterday, and we are on for good points, I believe.
Also, I've got to ask you, just looking at the ground here, it is absolutely covered in rubber. It's pretty dusty, isn't it? Back here, you're offline. How much is that going to affect you at the start of the race?
I think it will affect the first lap or two, because you see exactly where I drove in my box, because the pickup is basically gone because it's on my tires. So the first couple of laps or two I will struggle for grip, but yet, you know, you will not push in the first corner because everybody will be tangled up. You will save a lot of energy, so hopefully it will be clean before I start pushing.
All right then. Well, good luck for the start of the race. Thank you very much. Vernon, where are you?
I'm at the top of the grid, Nikki, with Eduardo Mortara. 3rd yesterday, congratulations. That must have meant that last night you slept very well.
I actually not so much. You know, you're still stressed. You know, from the race day. Actually, you said it like it went like very well for us, and we were aiming to have another good day. Qualifying went very well for us this morning, and this afternoon, and I really hope that we can also finish this one quite well.
Put in some great laps during qualifying. What have you changed? What's been the difference here in Puebla?
Well, everything is about details. So we try, you know, to improve these little details that make the difference. Obviously, in Formula E, the competition is, you know, the level is very, very high. So you need to do, you know, little details slightly better than the others, and hopefully, you know, you can make the difference.
Formula E is all about consistency. You've had did not start in Saudi Arabia, 2 DNFs, but every other performance has been inside the top 10, apart from one. So it's that consistency and gathering points that would really put you at the top of the championship table, right?
I mean, consistency is for sure very important in these kind of championships. Yeah, I try to extract you know, the maximum out of the car every time, and so far, yeah, we had some up and downs. These 2 races during this weekend they've been going like really well, and hopefully, you know, the second part of the season which is very, very important, will also go well.
It was great to see you on the podium yesterday. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great to watch him race, and it's great to see the Rocket Venturi car on the podium and at the front of the grid, 3rd, starting today. We're going to go over to Pascal Fellaini, who's just done an interview with our German partners, go around the back because they're very, very generous in the fact that they don't run into our shots, so we won't run into theirs. Let's get a quick chat with Pascal. He's with, if you can just get that, Matt, he's with Emile Lindsay, his team principal. We don't want to interrupt that chat because Emile, in my opinion, is probably the most intimidating team principal on the paddock. There we go. Pascal, can we have a quick chat, please, before you get into the car? This is it. This is the moment where you prove to everyone that this car is the car to beat on the grid. You must be feeling confident. Everything from yesterday put behind you. You're looking calm, cool, collected, as always. It's been a pleasure to chat to you. We'll see you later. I think I've said everything there, Pascal.
See you later.
Come on, you've got to get in front of Oliver. What's the plan? What's the game plan today with this dominant car from yesterday?
Yeah, difficult to say.
Not giving too much away,
because,
I like that.
You know, I'm, how do you say, sporadic? Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
So the plan can always change. Yeah, important to have a good start, clean first lap. Yesterday the pace was really good, so we want to try the same today.
Knowing that the car has pace and its efficiency, does that mean it gives you the opportunity to back off a little bit, or are you going to let the rest of the pack follow you?
Yeah, exactly. We don't need to do it in the first lap, so that's why the race is long. Yeah, and the winner is who crosses the line at the end first and doesn't get disqualified then.
All right, well, listen, good luck, all the best. After yesterday's race, Pascal put some interesting comments up on social media. If you get the chance, go and have a read, because he opened his heart about what he felt about yesterday's disqualification. It was really refreshing to see. He was open and he was honest, and it was what we were all feeling. Hey, Oliver Rowland, I'm just going to move along because of COVID protocols. Always looking calm, always looking relaxed. You put the car on pole position. It's got race pace, therefore you must be feeling confident.
Yeah, I'm confident. The car's been great all week, so you know I have one job to do, and it's to try and lead the race and save as much energy as I can and just manage things. You know, with Formula E, you never really know what's going to happen. So yeah, I'll just try and do my best today.
It's interesting that we live in that world that no one knows what's going to happen. I mean, you guys study the data, you try and plan, but it's impossible in Formula E. It really is. You've got Pascal behind you, and you know that he's got race pace. Are you going to hold him back? Or are you going to try and go? What? Just give us an inkling of what you're going to do.
No, I don't want to hold him back. To be honest, like if we break as a 3 or a 4, I'm happy. You know, so if he wants to lead, he can lead. At the same time, my goal at the moment is to try and lead the race and hopefully build a gap similar to what I did in Berlin last year.
And I just want to ask you one personal question. Jack Nicholls was talking about your beard. Is this a thing that's going to stay, or is it going, or does it match the new lid?
Well, I don't know. It's pretty fast, so I might keep it.
Fair enough. All right, thanks very much. Let's go over to Nikki.
All right,
Cheers,
thanks, Bernard. I'm down here by one of the German Giants cars, the Mercedes, who are leading the championship, the team's championship. Nick, I know you've got to jump in the car, but just quickly, yesterday was a bit of a day of what-ifs, it could have beens, but you did still manage to bring home a few points. What's the plan for today?
Yes, I think after all we were pretty happy with yesterday. Obviously, I think a potential top 5 finish was quite realistic, but yeah, that happened. In the end, we managed to grab a couple of points, and yeah, today we're obviously starting from the back of the grid, and hopefully we can play a similar game. But it's tough in Quali Group 1.
There's been so much potential there and so much pace that we've seen from the car and from you, you know, even in today's session in practice. Does that give you the confidence going into the race?
Of course, yes, but you ideally like to capitalize on that in qualifying and then have a kind of more straightforward race. But yeah, it is the way it is, so we'll have to work. We'll have to do some work this afternoon.
Are you going to keep your wits about you, though? Robin Freins, who may have there was a small collision with your Dutchman friend.
Yeah,
you were all okay with that?
Yeah, I mean everyone makes mistakes, and he came to apologise, so that's fine.
All right then. Well, wishing you all the best. Thank you very much, Nick de Vries. Now, we've absolutely loved racing here in Puebla. I think it's a track that has thrown up so many challengings. We've got the inner part of the track, we've got the oval. You can see the gradient behind me, but let's go to a track guide to find out the highs and lows of the track here in Puebla.
Welcome to Puebla, Mexico. Let's take a closer look at this 3-kilometre, 15-turn circuit. Turn 1 has a lot of challenges. A long straight approaching it, so high speed. It's a wide and very bumpy braking zone. But as the driver starts to turn in, it's very difficult to actually pick out the apex, and the rest of the corner is completely blind.
The apex wall in turn 1 will require pinpoint accuracy, and the track narrows down on exit. This should be fairly spicy on lap 1. Turn 2 is a sweeping right-hander.
Turn 3 is all about setting up for braking with turn 4, where the drivers are going to be turning as they brake and regenerating as much energy into the battery as possible. It's a long, long corner from here to the straight turn 5. Very easy to gain or lose a lot of time.
In turn 5, you'll be as wide as possible to set up for turn 6, where you need to carry as much speed as possible while using the minimum amount of road on exit, so you can be in the correct position for turn 7. This is a driver's view. Completely blind entry again. The apex is a wall, so if you get it slightly wrong, wipe the right side of the car off on the apex wall. But if you get it wrong on exit, there's about a foot of grass. And then another wall. There is absolutely no margin for error in this fairly quick corner. Turn 8 is another one of these long corners that we see at Puebla, with the wall being the apex very late in the corner, off camber, difficult corner. But then you consider that Formula E have put the attack mode activation zone not on the outside of the corner as normal, but on a completely different part of the circuit, a whole new piece of circuit. So the time lost, if you take attack mode, is going to be massive. Cars re-entering the circuit from attack mode will have much higher speed, so look out for contact where they merge. The short straight up to 10, heavy braking for 11, off the oval again. Long turn 13, sets up for 14. Turn 14, another one of those long corners, apex somewhere about there. But this is the critical point of the track. It's how early you can get back to throttle, because now you're flat out all the way around turn 15 to turn 1. Any pass you want to make in turn 1 starts right here. Turn 15 is a heavily banked, long oval corner. The fast way through here is to get as close to the white line as possible, but that puts tremendous amount of load on the right-hand side tyres, and by this point they're going to be really upset. One thing I learned at Iowa Speedway quite a few years ago was if you move up a little bit, especially in the race, you put less steering into the car, less load, it's going to allow the tyre to live longer for that race, 45 minutes plus 1 lap. Turn 15 leads on to the long start-finish straight to complete a lap of this very technical Puebla track.
Just 3 minutes or so away from the start of round 9 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Here we are in Puebla, the beautiful rolling countryside just outside of Mexico's 4th largest city, and there you can see the circuit down at the bottom there, this infield section on the oval track that's been used for NASCAR Mexico over the last few years. There's Jean-Eric Vergne starting 4th on the grid for the 3rd race in a row, so that's an interesting one. He will want to pick up a load of points to help his championship fight, because he's not a million miles away in 9th position coming into this race, Jean-Eric Vergne. And to me, Dario, I thought he was one of the drivers that had a big shot yesterday, and I feel like I always underestimate Eduardo Mortara, honestly. You would think, okay, he's 3rd, but he's not my favourite to win, but then he keeps doing it, and he's got a shot as well.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Jack. And I just looked at the points against where everybody qualified. There's a good chance that man there, Eduardo Mortara and Rocket Venturi, could be leading the points when we leave here today. He's starting 3rd, he's 8th in the points. He's only 13 points back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's when you get 15 points for a 3rd place. So as you say, finish where he starts and he's at the top. Pascal Fellaini for the Porsche team, looking for redemption from yesterday, basically. It's as simple as that, isn't it? Never had a win in Formula E. 2 podium finishes. Took his 2nd pole position yesterday. But he's got to fight Oliver Rowland, the fight that we never saw yesterday.
I was going to say battling Oliver Rowland. Oliver Rowland's car started 2nd yesterday. They had some technical issues in the Nissan. Yeah, I think that's going to be a great fight today.
There is Oliver Rowland. This is his 4th pole position. He's 12th in the championship, but again, a win today, and he'll have more points than Robin Freins if Freins doesn't score points. But we will see how the people at the back get through, because they seem more confident than usual, I feel, today. I feel like those at the back are feeling fairly confident that they can get some points.
Yeah, if you look at it, all the main championship protagonists are all back there together, so yeah. They're probably thinking they'll be able to sort of battle through the midfield pack, and then you're in the points straight away.
Yeah, we're going to have a race within a race as ever today, aren't we? So let's all turn our attention now to round 5 of the Formula E World Championship. And we go green in Puebla. And they make contact. Oh, don't believe it! Oh, that was a mad move. This just feels like it's bubbling.
Push. What a race!
The second race of the weekend here in the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship signifies the start of the second half of the season. The CBMM Niobium Puebla E-Prix is round 9 of the championship, and on a beautiful day here in Mexico, this is how the grid is going to line up around this wonderful circuit in the middle of the Mexico countryside. Once again, it's the championship contenders that are down towards the back of the order. René Rast is at the back of the field. He did not have a good run in qualifying at all. You've got Robin Freins in 21st, Da Costa second in the standings, 22nd. Nick de Vries is in 19th place for Mercedes EQ. Mitch Evans and Stoffel van Dorn are front runners as well. It really is a who's who of Formula E, but at the back of the grid, Sam Bird was in the second group, and he was excited for that, but made a mistake, and as a result is only down in 15th place on the grid. You've got Lucas Degrassi, the race winner from yesterday, who's 13th for the Audi Sport at Schaeffler team. Max Günther missing out on the top 10 for a rare time this season. He's been in Superpole an awful lot, but couldn't quite get it hooked up in the BMW I Andretti Motorsport entry. That's 24 to 11, but these are the top 10 that will score points if the race finishes as it starts. The chances of that happening almost zero. There is Günther on the left. Just behind him is the other Tag Heuer Porsche of Andre Lotterer. He starts 10th on the grid, looking to pick up some points. He's struggling this season, only 1 points finish, and that was when he finished second a few races ago in Valencia. Tom Blomqvist is 9th for the Neo team after a very impressive qualifying performance for what is arguably the slowest car on the grid. Then you've got Nick Cassidy for the Envision Virgin team. He lines up 8th. The Kiwi driver from Auckland is starting behind Sebastian Buemi, 7th on the grid for the Nissan Edams van. His teammate, though, is on pole position, so we'll see whether Buemi can battle his way up the field. Alex Lynn qualified 3rd, but was guilty of a technical infringement in Superpole, so he was knocked back down to 6th place. Jake Dennis lost the tyres in his Superpole run, so ended up 5th quickest despite topping the qualifying groups. Jean-Eric Verne, for the 3rd time in a row, starts 4th on the grid. He finished 4th in Monaco, retired from the race yesterday. Can he pick up some points today? Eduardo Mortara, 3rd yesterday and 3rd on the grid again today for the Rocket Venturi team. He is looking for his 3rd podium of the season. And then the front row, Pascal Fellaini looking for redemption after being disqualified from the race win yesterday in the Tag Heuer Porsche. He is up against Oliver Rowland, the pole sitter. The Nissan driver could move to the top of the championship if he wins the race today. The cars all lined up, ready to go for this 45-minute +1 lap race. We're in for a lot of battles at the back, we're in for a lot of battles at the front. We've got attack mode to contend with, we've got fan boost in there as well. Dario Franchitti, this is going to be a fascinating E-Prix.
It is, absolutely. It's almost back to front with the championship runners at the back. Let's see how far they can get forward, but the battle between the guys you see there is going to be fascinating. Oliver Rowland, Pascal Fellaini, if they've got to get through the first corner first, and then the race is on.
Yesterday, the left-hand side of the grid as we look at it, so the odd-numbered positions, Rowland, Mortara, Dennis, Buemi, that got a much, much better start.
Yeah, the clean side of the grid absolutely make a massive difference here.
Green flag waved at the back. Round 9 of the Formula E World Championship about to get underway. Rowland on pole, Fellaini alongside him on the front row of the grid. Mortara and Werner on row 2. The championship leaders are at the back of the pack. All 5 lights are on. And we go green in Puebla. Good start from Rowland this time, and it also looks like a good start from Jean-Eric Verne. Mortara's coming up alongside Pascal Fellaini. Mortara's on the outside, coming into the braking zone for turn 1. He's going to outbrake Fellaini, is he, as they come into the first corner? He is. Mortara is up into 2nd place. Verne and Dennis are going side by side through the right-hander now of turn 2. Look how dirty it is on the exit of that corner, but Rowland holds the lead. Mortara 2nd, Fellaini, Dennis, Verne, Lynn and Buemi are going side by side. Nick Cassidy's getting involved in there as well. Damage for Stoffel van Dorn. He's damaged his front right bodywork. Whether he's damaged the wheel as well, we'll have to wait and see. But Rowland has got away, and it was that clean side of the grid, the left-hand side, that got the best getaway. Buemi's dropping down the order a little bit. Bird has made up a couple of places and got into 12th position. Degrassi, yesterday's winner, has gone from 13th down to 15th. But Rowland is away in the lead.
Breathe, Jack, breathe. Yeah, I think there's some damage to the other Venturi of Norman Nato as well. I think he was the one that hit the Mercedes EQ. Spreads out, heavy braking zone in turn 11. Is anybody feeling brave enough right now? You see, is that one of the Neils trying to defend a little bit?
Yep, it's Blomqvist who's just ahead of Sam Bird, and the Mexican fans on their feet in the grandstands. Great to have the fans back at this race. some of the most passionate in the world, if not the most passionate, really.
And they've sat out there in the sun all afternoon, watched qualifying, and they've sat out there since then in the baking heat.
Through the final backed corner at turn 15.
I see Alex Lynn in the orange and white Mahindra. Looks like he's setting up for a pass to Jean-Eric Verne in the black and gold Techeetah.
He's right up behind him, isn't he, as they come down towards the first corner. Is he going to have a look? No, he's dropped back, and there's a look from Buemi, though. Sebastian Buemi on the attack straight away, past Nick Cassidy, and that is 7th position now for the Swiss racer. There's Robin Freitzer. He's dropped back at the start. Only 1 place, admittedly, but he's back down to 22nd place. Van Doorn and De Vries, the 2 drivers that kind of gained the most places. De Vries started 19th. He's got 2 places. That's out of the championship contenders who are at the back of the field. But Roland said he wanted to lead this race from the front, and he is now, but he's just kicked up the dirt coming out of turn 7. Looks like he's got away with it for the moment through the right-hand hairpin at turn 8.
And looking further back in the field championship contender, Sam Bird, it's gone from 15th to 12th, so that's a fairly healthy move on the first lap.
42 minutes plus 1 lap to go. There is Bird. He is right up behind Tom Blomqvist, the British driver in the Neo that's going to be struggling in this race, because Neo is one of the slowest cars, and there he goes, he forces his way through, and Sims tries to come through as well, and Alexander Sims takes 2 places. Brilliant opportunistic move from the Mahindra driver, and Bird goes forward 1 place, goes back another place, and he almost gets a tag from Blomqvist. The Jaguars and the Neos, as you may have noticed, with very similar paint schemes, but it is a Jaguar, then a Neo, then a Jaguar. The 3rd car in that queue is Mitch Evans, and he has got yesterday's race winner Lucas Degrassi right behind him as they come through the final corner. Attack mode activation zone is now open, and you have to use it twice during the race for a period of 4 minutes. Down into turn 1 we go again.
And normally the attack mode activation zone is on the outside of the circuit. This weekend in Puebla, as we see Lucas Degrassi making a very late move, this time in Puebla it's actually on a different part of the circuit, and it caused some issues yesterday when the cars were re-Johnny, so we'll see more of that when the drivers start using it. And Tom Blomqvist still hanging on to the back of Sam Bird, and I think he's probably feeling a bit aggrieved, depending how aggressive Sam's move was. Probably trying to give him a little tap back in turn 13 a lap ago.
Cars flash through turn 7.
You've got to say that Jake Dennis, Jean-Eric Verne battle 4, 5, Alex Lynn 6. They're all starting to queue up behind the blue and white BMW.
But it's Oliver Rowland that has broken away in the lead of the race in the early stages. There is Jean-Eric Verne in the black and gold DS Techeetah. That's Pascal Fellaini running in 3rd place now. Fellaini said on the grid that, you know, they were so good on their energy management yesterday that he's not going to be too stressed if he doesn't take the lead of the race. They can afford to play the long game. But the thing with Formula E is it changes so rapidly day to day. Just because you were good yesterday doesn't mean you're going to be good today.
Well, they say in racing, if you stand still, you're going backwards. And Alex Lynn is definitely trying to go forwards here. You see him in the Mahindra, trying to set up Jean-Eric Verne. Hopefully the power management of that car is good enough for him today that he can start attacking and heading forward. The DS Techeetah of Jean-Eric Verne in 5th place has been very strong this season.
Down into turn 1, Blomqvist and Bird are still right together. Blomqvist is doing a great job, and there's a look from Sergio Sette Camera, and he whacks Oliver Turvey, coming from a long, long way back there. Sette Camera gains a place up into 19th position, but it was robust, let's say.
Yeah, gained a place, lost some bodywork, but that was way, way too late. I don't know if he was out of control. Such a low grip surface, but yeah, if you're Oliver Turvey, you're going to be a little bit upset about that one. Hopefully they didn't knock the toe out, the rear toe of Oliver Turvey's car.
Now in the past, or yesterday, we saw a lot of drivers towards the back of the grid activating their attack mode early. Robin Freitz has done that. So the championship leader has got his Envision Virgin racing car out of the way, or his first one out of the way. Having a look at the replay here, and it all got piled in behind, didn't it? Sims was very aggressive. Nato was involved. It was carnage, really, down at turn 4.
And it looked like Tom Blomqvist on the outside backed everybody up, and Sam Bird had nowhere to go. And that sort of set it off on the outside, on the right-hand side here. But this is close quarters racing.
Oh.
There you go, crunchy carbon fibre. The parts area of Formula E had actually run out of some of the parts before the weekend had even started.
This is on board with Mitch Evans as he was watching it unfold towards the back of the queue. Some robust action in the middle of the midfield on the opening lap. Mitch Evans seeing Alexander Sims hit the side of Lucas Degrassi, but it's Oliver Rowland who is still leading this E-Prix. Mortara is second, Verline is third, and that's Nick de Vries going past Norman Nato and getting up into 16th position. But Rowland's lead is a second, then it's half a second from Mortara in second to Pascal Verline in third. Jake Dennis still sitting fairly comfortably, to be honest, in fourth position, and Oliver Rowland in the lead coming down to turn 8, and he activates attack mode then. So Rowland from the lead goes early, comes through the activation zone now, and he will have an extra 35 kilowatts of power for 4 minutes, and you have to use it twice during the race. He's come out in front of Jean-Eric Verne, so it's fourth place for Oliver Rowland. Not too bad, and now he'll try and use this extra power to climb back up the order. Oh, and there goes Nick Cassidy trying to find Buemi. Buemi all locked up. Lotterer getting involved in the black, white and red Porsche as well, but no one in the end made any progress there. And well, there's another attack from Alexander Sims. He's passing people everywhere today.
Sims had his porridge this morning. The Mahindras look good because Jean-Eric Verne in fourth is having to defend fairly hard from Alex Lynn in fifth. So this is, or in sixth, sorry. So this is looking good for the Mahindra guys this early in the race.
Now here comes Rowland. He needs to not get held up behind cars that are not in attack mode, and this is where he's going to try and get past Jake Dennis. Jake Dennis defends vigorously. As you can see, Sete Camera and Turvey under investigation for causing an incident, and then Rowland came back and squeezed him into the wall. Those two haven't raced together wheel to wheel since their karting days, when Rowland put Dennis in the wall, according to Dennis.
Yeah, I believe that's what Dennis said yesterday. And I think he was looking, he's having a bit of a deja vu in that situation. He's settling down for a minute. That was a good move by Rowland. The big problem when these guys converge from the attack mode activation zone, we saw 2 incidents yesterday, the 2 championship contenders, Sam Bird, Jean-Eric Verne, taken out of contention right there. But you have to remember, the car on track has the right of way.
36 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Degrassi there, coming through in 13th position. There is Mortara in the lead, Verline in second place. Then there's a gap back to Oliver Rowland in third, but he's activated his first attack mode. Now through the right-hander of turn 13, then to the left of 14. And Rowland on this lap is not actually closing in on Mortara and Verline in front. So even though he's got that extra power, maybe choosing not to deploy it necessarily, or to still save a lot of energy. Here's Nick Cassidy, who's been fighting with Sebastian Buemi for quite a long time. He's right behind the BMW driver now. Buemi later on the brakes, going into the first corner. Cassidy defending a little. Presumably Andre Lotterer is somewhere around there that Cassidy felt he needed to cover off, and he's still there in 8th position at the moment. And that's Joel Eriksson having a squabble with Oliver Turvey, and Turvey getting in front. There's Jake Dennis, 4th position for him at the moment. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Dennis ahead of Verne, and Dennis is running fairly well at the moment. Picked up a 5th place finish yesterday. There goes Mortara onto the dirty stuff, and he emerges just behind Dennis then, and goes for it straight away, coming into 7th. Gets the move done.
Yeah, he was on the inside line, so he had to make that move count, and they timed that to perfection, the Venturi team, because now he's got the clear track and he can close the gap back up to Rowland. As we see Jean-Eric Verne making a move on Jake Dennis. I don't think he was expecting that. Jake caught Jake Dennis napping just a little bit, and Jake's holding the cars up behind. Watch out for some contact in all the different cars behind Jake Dennis at the moment. They really battle for position wheel to wheel.
Cassidy under big pressure from Lotterer in the purple Envision Virgin racing car. This is back on board with Alexander Sims, always looking for a little nose up the inside somewhere, isn't he? He's made good progress today as Sims. And they come down through the banked corner.
You see Lynn is right up behind the BMW of Jake Dennis. Dennis defends again.
Moves back, covers the inside. Nothing doing this time for Alex Lynn, running in that 6th spot. Rowland now is out of attack mode, so he has used his first attack mode, and he's only 1.4 seconds back from Verline. So if Verline were to do it now, which I would suggest he may do, he would drop back behind Rowland. He's just on the fastest first sector of anyone, Pascal Verline, so maybe a bit of a push before he goes into the attack mode activation. Indeed, and Rowland follows him in. So Roland's much quicker through the attack mode activation there and comes out side by side with Jean-Eric Verne. Roland has got both of his attack modes done in the first 12 minutes of this E-Prix. Very aggressive attack mode strategy from Nissan.
Exactly what I was going to say, Jack. Very aggressive strategy. They're here to win today. They're not interested in second, third, fourth place points. They want to win this race. We've got a yellow flag on the circuit at turn 9. Track is now clear at turn 9. Yeah, so now the strategy is happening. It's like a game of chess, but there's 23 players in it, and every move that another team makes, that dictates what you should do. I think Oliver Rowland, though, yeah, that's a very strong move from the Nissan team. I like it.
Sergio Sede Camera given a 5-second time penalty for causing that collision with Oliver Turvey. That seems about fair enough. Here they come again. Love it.
Through the bank, turn 15, the oval corner. See, Sims looks like he's trying to set up Lotterer from 10th and 9th. Let's look at the energy numbers.
Well, Verline has a little more than Oliver Rowland, but it's still Eduardo Mortara who is leading the way at the moment here in Puebla. So Mortara in the lead, Verline second, and De Vries is in the pits. Has he got a left rear puncture? De Vries has a left rear puncture, I'm sure of it, as he comes into the pit lane.
You can see, Jack, the right front is off the ground at left rear. It's either a puncture or he's damaged the left rear suspension. Either way, it's a difficult one. His day's probably over. As we see Buemi going for attack mode.
Well, Verline.
Honestly, I don't know what to say.
So that's De Vries asking, did you guys see it on TV? He's not asking us, he's asking the team, but we didn't, I'm afraid. We'll try and get you a replay, Nick, and we can show the team it, but he's obviously been in some kind of collision out there.
As the cars go through turn 11, the circuit is having a bit of break-up on the outside, so you don't want to go too wide there. You get into the marbles, and that becomes like ice. And there's rubber marbles on the circuit too. As the tyre wears, it puts off these little marbles of rubber, and those are like ice. So you've got to stay on line today, even when you're trying to make some of these moves. Just look on the bottom left of your screen. Those are the rubber marbles. Seems equally spaced right now through the top 6.
Through the final corner they come. And back down the start, finish straight. Mortara is leading the E-Prix. Pascal Verline is second, but they both have another attack mode to take, whereas Oliver Rowland does not. They're side by side with Nato. That was Nato and Bird, and they are fighting further. No, sorry, it was Nato and Van Dorn, and Bird and Blomqvist. No, Evans and Blomqvist fighting. One of the Jaguars was involved somewhere, and Nato's in 12th place at the moment.
Yeah, both Jaguars took their attack mode activation zone. Blomqvist in the Neo got past them both again, so they've got all that work to do. Again, that's part of the strategy of when you take attack mode and how many places you lose.
Oliver Rowland still in the net lead of this E-Prix. Even though he's in 3rd place at the moment, Mortara and Verline still have to activate their attack mode, which will give Rowland the lead of the race back. Through turn 8. Now this is a replay of Lucas Degrassi hitting the back of Nick De Vries as they came up into the left-hander of turn 7. That has caused Nick De Vries to retire from the Puebla E-Prix, this 9th round of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. And that's why De Vries got a puncture. He is out of the race, and that was really unfortunate for the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, that was a fairly aggressive move from Lucas Degrassi. I'm sure they'll be looking at that. Mortara, though, if he can pull a gap, Jack, then that negates almost Oliver Rowland having taken both attack modes so far. If he can get far enough ahead, right now, as it flies, he's 2.6 seconds ahead of Oliver Rowland. It's going to be tight if he takes it this lap.
Yeah, it will be close. So if he can keep up this pace, then he's in a not bad position at all, Eduardo Mortara. But you can see behind, Verne, Dennis, Lynn, Cassidy, Lotterer and Sims all have 2 attack modes remaining. De Vries and Degrassi under investigation for causing a collision, but yeah, so it's very different strategies. Rowland has used up all his attack mode. They're done. But the rest of that top group have got either 1 more, in the case of Mortara and Verline, or 2 more from 4th to 9th.
Because they don't have the luxury. 4th to 9th. You could actually go from 4th to 9th. As we see 3 of them all take it at the same time.
So that is Verne, Dennis and Lynn all activating at the same time. Lotterer gets up ahead of them then. So Lotterer is now up into 4th position. Oh, there's Sims and Van Dorn fighting. And that is now for 10th, 11th position. Verne is now defending hard from Jake Dennis. And those 3 are battling on track for position. What I think will be a net 4th place, because Nick Cassidy's now up in 4th position. Simples.
Just looking at the gap, is the gap growing between Mortara and Roland? That could be key to the victory of this race. We haven't seen Wehrlein really flex his muscles yet in the Porsche. Now, as these guys go through here, 235 kilowatts of power under attack mode, that makes this corner a lot faster, puts a lot more pressure on the tyres as well, so you've got to take that into account in how you attack this circuit, because tyre wear is one issue, energy management is another, and you've got to do all that while going quickly, making positions and trying not to lose them.
We're 100 kilometers southeast of Mexico City here in Puebla, as, well, Mitch Evans braked from about 100 kilometers southeast of Sam Bird there. Super late on the brakes from Evans, and he's now in 14th, Bird in 15th. Watching Pascal Fellaini in the inset in the top left, trying to chase down Eduardo Mortara at the moment. Mortara's got a good advantage over Roland, 3.3 seconds now, and that's a second attack mode, is it, for Wehrlein? Yes, it is. So Wehrlein goes for a second attack mode, and it was so close with Cassidy when he came back onto the track, and Cassidy is through. Up in the top left, you're seeing this. Everybody else is taking it in the main picture too, but Wehrlein activates his second attack mode, and Nick Cassidy here in the purple Envision Virgin Racing car, back up into third, well now, up into third position, I should say, and he hasn't taken any attack modes yet. Lotter in deep into the right-hander, and he's squeezing Sims in the wall, and he's just not letting him through. Sims forces his way past in the end. Some of the advertising is coming with the BMW of, well, all of the cars. There's some on the back, there's some on the back of Gunter as well. Gunter's got it like a parachute on a drag racer, but 27 minutes left on the clock.
I was going to say that will definitely create some drag through this section, and the drivers are heading into a headwinds now from turn 15 down the straight where you see them at this moment. Yeah, Nick Cassidy, he's really rolling the dice with not taking any attack modes up until this point.
Andre Lotterer is, that's a late move, Gunter, going for Sims, and he gets through.
Yeah, I think Sims could do there. He caught him so late, sort of not napping, but Sims was trying to lift and coast and regenerate, put energy back into the battery, because you've got to regenerate something like an extra 30% energy into the battery just to make the end of the race.
Mortara here is having a fantastic race. He's out in the lead, he's 4.6, and he's just activated his second attack mode. Eduardo Mortara in the race lead. Has he managed to keep ahead of Oliver Roland? I think he has. I think Eduardo Mortara is now the race leader of the Puebla E-Prix. There he is. The black and white Venturi is out in front. Roland is second, Wehrlein is third, and suddenly the Swiss racer, looking for his second win in the championship, is in the lead for the Monegasque Venturi team. And if he wins the race, he would go to the top of the standings. And there's more contact further back with Nato and Buemi. Buemi getting ahead. Nato losing places. Yeah. There's all sorts of debris on the front of Jean-Eric Verne.
He's damaged the front. Look at the front tyres towing in on the Venturi.
So Nato's out of the running now, but the other Venturi has taken the lead of the race. There it is. Eduardo Mortara leads. Roland second. Wehrlein third. Verne fourth. Dennis fifth. Cassidy sixth. Seventh is Alex Lynn, and then there's a big gap back to Gunter behind. This top group have really broken away.
Yeah, and Cassidy actually did a great job there, managing to take the attack mode. He just managed to stay ahead of Alex Lynn, as we see Mitch Evans in the Jaguar on the inside making the move.
And Freins is attacking Antonio Felix da Costa coming into turn one, and Freins gets through.
And da Costa's got some of the advertising hoarding on his car too.
Everyone is advertising Julius Baer this afternoon, aren't they? They're taking it around the track. That'll be a little extra on the sponsorship charges, I think.
I've got to say, when Marco Peroni's going to pay them a bonus.
Yeah. 25 minutes plus 1 lap to go. This is Verne and Dennis and Lynn going through their second attack mode activation. Mortara still leading, 1.6 seconds ahead of Oliver Roland. Wehrlein third, Cassidy fourth still, then Verne, Dennis, Lynn. So Nick Cassidy's done a great job here to get him into a sort of comfortable-ish fourth place at the moment.
Oh, absolutely, and Jean-Eric Verne holding up Jake Dennis just a little bit. Lynn's got more energy behind the pair of them, so can he use that to get past? And you can see the amount of people making mistakes in turn 11 as this baking sun on this surface really tortures the tyres, especially around this last turn 15 that Edo Mortara is going around right now. No such problems for him. He's doing a fantastic job.
Wonderful drive this from Eduardo Mortara, leading the way for the Venturi team. He got a podium finish yesterday with a third place finish. He's scored points in every race he's entered in Mexico, and that's continuing today. He's leading. Side by side here with Alexander Sims and Andre Lotterer. No love lost at the moment because I think Lotterer was a bit peeved at that move from Alexander Sims a few moments ago, although it looked to me as though Lotterer squeezed Sims into the wall rather than the other way around, but Lotterer was pretty furious on the radio. There's a yellow flag at turn 8, so there's a yellow flag down here somewhere. Why? Can't see anything. Maybe in the attack mode runoff?
You and I agree on that. I think Lotterer was...
it's Turvey. It's Oliver Turvey has stopped in the runoff area. Degrassi's been given a drive-through penalty for causing a collision when he hit the back of Nick de Vries.
And that takes him out of 14th place.
There is Turvey out. The Neo breaking down by the looks of things. And there is Eduardo Mortara in the Rocket Venturi. It looked for all the world as though Roland had this under control, but when Mortara, Turvey saying it won't go into the gear.
Clear the errors, hold plus minus buttons.
But I think that's the end of the run for Oliver Turvey. But Eduardo Mortara comfortably leading this E-Prix. He comes across the line, does a 1 minute 26.7, and that is half a second quicker than Oliver Roland.
And he's doing it using little energy, which is one of the challenges. I could use a lot of energy and go fast, or I could go slow and save a lot of energy, but to do what Eduardo Mortara is doing, very, very impressive, as he's just about to run out of his second attack mode.
Now, he's got 51% energy, Roland has 51%, Wehrlein has more. So that is interesting, that Wehrlein has more energy. Mitch Evans is going past Sam Bird, who's lost his front right. Van Dorn is going past Degrassi, who's got to serve a drive-through penalty, but that energy on the left there suggests that Mortara has really good pace. In fact, he's got a tiny bit more than Oliver Roland up at the front. This is a really great drive for the Venturi team.
And you see Cassidy with 52%, but he's still got to use his second attack mode, and that uses more energy.
Andre Lotterer going through to activate his second attack mode in the Porsche. He has come out in 12th position, I think, behind Sam Bird and Mitch Evans. But Eduardo Mortara, the Italian-Swiss racer in the Rocket Venturi, is the man leading the way. Oh, that's where it all got crunchy with Bird. Sandwiched in, so Degrassi's got involved in another scrap here, and he's gone into Bird, and Bird's gone into Buemi, and everybody else is just piling around trying to find some space.
And if Bird does not have suspension damage there, I will be shocked.
Look at this, they're all side by side through turn 7. There we go, Degrassi just ploughing into the back of Bird at 7.
Yeah, but did the Nissan have a problem at the front of that pack? I guess clearly Buemi's now 18. I think Buemi might have had a problem at the front of that group of cars, backed everybody up, and well, you saw what happened.
Now, battle for second place is on. Wehrlein here has caught Oliver Roland. These two started on the front row of the grid. Roland is in the black and red Nissan Edams car, the British driver who started on pole. Pascal Wehrlein is third, the driver who took the win yesterday before being disqualified. And they're both 2.2 seconds behind Eduardo Mortara, who is in the lead of this E-Prix. Pascal Wehrlein, Stoffel Van Dorn, Antonio Felix da Costa and Lucas Degrassi, you can see on the left there, are the winners of the fan boost. And that means they get an extra power boost in the second half of the race. They can boost up to 250 kilowatts. The other winner was Nick de Vries, but he is out of the race. So that could be crucial for Pascal Wehrlein in his attempts to get past Oliver Roland. I feel like Wehrlein wants to win this E-Prix still. He's got 20 minutes plus 1 lap to go. He looks like he's in a better position than Oliver Roland at the moment in terms of energy, in terms of just pure lap time, and he's right up behind the British driver. If he can get through into second place, he'll try and hunt down Mortara in the lead of this race.
Absolutely right. The pace was definitely there in the Porsche yesterday. As we say, track conditions a bit different today, but he's going to just close that gap bit by bit. Oh, he's done it all at once. Look, he's just on the braking, under braking for turn 1. He's closed the gap to Oliver Roland. Now he's got to try and make the move, get past, and head off after Edo Mortara. But Edo Mortara looks good. I wonder if he's managing the gap again, managing his tyre wear, managing his energy consumption, and still trying to go quick. You see the throttle when they're coasting, when they lift off, when they brake, the regen. Regen is a paddle on the wheel. That basically turns the engine into reverse, puts the motor into reverse, puts energy back into the battery. And it's a constant juggling act these drivers are doing. On board, Pascal Wehrlein in the Porsche.
Nick Cassidy in 4th place is 3.2 seconds clear of Jean-Eric Verne, so I think, oh, and he's actually just done it. As I say that, Nick
Oliver
Cassidy
Roland's hit the inside wall. Look at the damage to the tyre. Has he damaged the wheel enough that he's going to get a flat tyre, or has he damaged the suspension? Looks like it. Ah, it's a mistake by Oliver Roland.
Wehrlein through into second place. An error from Oliver Rowland, and now Wehrlein will set off to attack Eduardo Mortara in the lead of the E-Prix. Frustration at Nissan Edams, but even without the mistake, I think he's not got the race pace today, Oliver Rowland, to keep Wehrlein behind, because he is on a mission of redemption.
And if I'm Oliver Rowland now, I'm just managing that gap. I'm going to try and hang on to Pascal Wehrlein, but if the car is in any way damaged, I'm going to try and hang on for the podium. Let's see if his steering wheel is straight when he gets to the straight part. That will tell us some way about the damage. It looks pretty straight. Yeah. So he might be all right, in which case, let's see if he goes battling back and tries to take the battle to Pascal Wehrlein. But Wehrlein already closing that gap to Edo Mortara in the Venturi ahead of him.
Driver's eye, this. The camera right inside the helmet of Oliver Rowland, as he got a little bit out of shape there, coming through the left-hander. Right, Robin Freins is with Stoffel van Dorn. They are fighting over 13th position, and Freins is in the purple Envision Virgin car. He's the championship leader, looking to get any points that he can out of this. Eduardo Mortara, if he wins the race, would be the championship leader. Here's a look at the replay of Wehrlein taking second place.
That's the pass into 11. The incident happened in 10. He just collected the inside wall. It's one of the difficulties of what they're trying to do. And he's, yeah, look at the damage on the left front. You've got to apex as close to that wall as you can, because that's where the grip is, Jack. But overdo it, we've just seen what happens.
Wehrlein up into second place now. But there is the race leader, Eduardo Mortara, in the 48 Rocket Venturi car. And he is 1.7 seconds ahead of Pascal Wehrlein. The gap was larger than that before.
Oh, definitely was. If you're Wehrlein, you're looking, you're just focusing on the car in front. If you're Edo Mortara, you're sort of starting to hear the Jaws music. You're looking in the mirror, and that Porsche is getting bigger and bigger, and you do not want to see that. You've led a lot of the race, 17 minutes plus a lap to go. I think he's going to have a battle on his hands before long.
Nick Cassidy sets the fastest lap of the race. And the Envision Virgin Racing driver running in 4th place. And he is coming through the left-hander now of turn 4. But it is still Eduardo Mortara leading the way at the moment. 16.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Gunter running in 8th place for the BMW I Andretti team. Evans and Bird almost up into the points now. 10th, well, Evans is, Bird isn't quite. 10th and 11th for the Jaguar team. And this is Vern, Dennis and Lynn battling over 5th, 6th and 7th. And just at the back there is Roger Griffiths, the team principal of BMW I Andretti. Lynn and Gunter have a bit more usable energy than Jean-Eric Verne in front. Rowland has a bit less than Wehrlein and Mortara, but there's just half a second between the race leaders. Wehrlein has set the fastest first sector of anyone and is now half a second off the back of Eduardo Mortara. 16 minutes plus 1 lap to go. And Pascal Wehrlein, the German, is right behind Eduardo Mortara. Here they come now to start another lap. How hard is Mortara going to fight? Is it going to be possible to fight Pascal Wehrlein with this pace advantage?
Well, if it is, I could guarantee you. But we've got a yellow flag at turn 8 again. Has gone, track is clear. I wonder if that's something to do with Oliver Turvey parking there. But absolutely, if there's any way Mortara can hang on to this lead, he will. The track's got a little bit break up right there, turn 1, exit of turn 11 too. I can see that catching somebody out before the end of this E-Prix. I really can.
On board with Pascal Wehrlein, the German, chasing down Swiss Eduardo Mortara. And this is the look back from Mortara with Wehrlein chasing him. Venturi versus Porsche.
And the Venturi with a Mercedes EQ powertrain in it. I have to say, Pascal Wehrlein is leaving nothing on the table. He's getting close to the walls, close to the grass. This is turn 8, the exit of 8. Look at the Mercedes EQ powertrain putting the power down. And let's see how close. Look how close Wehrlein is to the wall. Wehrlein's setting up for this pass. I think they'll be a bit cautious here in 11.
Cassidy's closing in on Oliver Rowland a little as well. The battle on for the lead of the Puebla E-Prix, round 9 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Next race in New York City in a few weeks' time. But Eduardo Mortara in the white and black Venturi is just ahead of the red, white and black Porsche of Pascal Wehrlein. As they come through the banked final corner here in Mexico's 4th largest city and come charging down towards turn 1 again. And Wehrlein, I would imagine, is just biding his time at the moment. And They're coming through the left-hander. There is Jake Dennis.
We have a yellow in turn 15.
Yeah.
Last corner. If that's the case, that could be a full course yellow.
Sims has just lost out to Bird. Evans and Bird are now both up into the top 10. Although, as I say, that Van Dorn has got ahead of Sims. So Sims is dropping down the field. So we'll try and... oh, and there he is.
That would be the best.
Yeah,
Sims is going to pull off at turn 1.
I think he might have gone on the marbles in turn 15. Let's look at the damage to the right front of the car. That's what it looks like. He was having a great race as well, Alexander Sims.
Race leaders right together.
Pascal Fellaini doesn't say much, but the anger you could see in his eyes, even today on the grid, he wants this win badly, and obviously the Porsche team want to make amends for the injustice that was done yesterday. So expect a big battle. We've got a yellow at turn 1 though, due to
Sims.
Yeah, Sims is coming up, but hopefully he's gone far enough down the escape road that they're not going to have a constant yellow, because that is the main overtaking opportunity off the lap. Unless you're, of course, Eduardo Mortara, you're thinking, fantastic. Oh, but the track is clear at turn 1. That's green light for Pascal Fellaini to try the pass.
Through turn 15 and down towards the first corner we go again. 12 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Fellaini right up behind Mortara. We're riding with the German. Just noses to the inside, a little bit of a twitch.
Did you hear the rears locking as he started to regenerate? Pulled the paddle on the steering wheel to regenerate and then used the brakes.
Fellaini scored points in the first 4 races of the season and then has failed to score in the last 4 races. But he's looking at scoring big today if he can get ahead of Eduardo Mortara. But both of these drivers are going to get launched into championship contention after this result. If they finish in first and second, whichever way around, they're going to be right in the title fight. And it's going to be fascinating to see what happens going through for the rest of the season.
Nick Cassidy in 4th is catching Oliver Rowland in 3rd. Quite comprehensively. Isn't it quick? Amazing how quickly things change in this championship.
You can see on the inset as well, Jake Dennis up behind Jean-Eric Verne. They're fighting over 5th and 6th places.
No. I don't know what that was. Whatever the question was, the answer was no.
Through they come again, the left-hander.
You can think, Pascal Fellaini's going to get close here through 15. But then it's really going to depend who can stay on the throttle that bit longer. He's got slightly more energy than Eduardo Mortara. That might allow him to stay on the throttle for a second longer into the braking zone of turn 1. But he's got to be closer than that to make a pass.
Dennis is close to the back of Jean-Eric Verne as well. France has a good amount of energy in 11th place. That's a lock-up from Alex Lynn, who is at the back of this 3-way queue. Verne, Dennis and Lynn right together, and they're kind of in a race of their own at the moment. Lynn has the most energy out of the 3 of them, but they're almost in reverse energy order at the moment.
And the difficult part for Lynn, he's got the extra energy, but when you use it, you've got to make it count, because he's only going to get one try at Jake Dennis or Jean-Eric Verne to use that extra energy to make the pass.
Next race is coming up in New York City, then we go to London in the middle of July before finishing the season with a doubleheader in Berlin in August. And we are only just over the halfway point of the season. Fans here, hopefully for some fans in London and fans in Berlin, which would be a fantastic way to end this first World Championship season for Formula E. And we've had some very entertaining racing so far this year, and this is a slow burner, but a fascinating one with real connotations at the top of the championship. And Mortara and Fellaini, the longer Mortara keeps Fellaini behind, I guess the happier he's going to be, or does it start to feel inevitable?
No, the problem for Mortara is Fellaini is saving energy on the straight into the headwind every lap. He's just saving a bit of energy. The air's so thin here up at 2,000 meters plus, but he's just saving that bit of energy, so he's going to make one, I would imagine, heavy attack. Just a shout out to René Rast, 12th, started 24th and last. Oh, we see now Jake Dennis having to defend from Alex Lynn.
France is up into the points as well, so he has gone from 21st up to 10th position, the Envision Virgin Racing driver, which would give him an extra point at the top of the standings as we ride with Alex Lynn. The British driver from Essex right up behind Jake Dennis in the battle for 6th position, ultimately 5th place with Jean-Eric Verne at the front of this queue.
Lynn's problem is Max Günther closed up 4/10 that lap, so he's got to get past Jake Dennis, because pretty soon he's going to have a BMW in his mirrors otherwise. See, the balance of the Mahindra, again, looks pretty good. Lynn, very smooth steering inputs. Oh, and Verne spins.
Jean-Eric Verne throws it away from 5th place. Out of absolutely nowhere at turn 9, Jean-Eric Verne is facing backwards. I think he's recovered to still be in 7th place, but that opens up the door for Jake Dennis to move into 5th place, and this now is the battle for 5th and 6th. Meanwhile, up at the front, Mortara and Wehrlein right together. This is the closest Wehrlein has been. You can hear the Mexican fans applauding as the two race leaders once again come through, nose to tail down towards turn 1, but Mortara is so good through the final corner that Wehrlein looks like he's right with him, but Wehrlein pulls away. Onto the brakes into turn 1, and he's not close enough.
And the compromise, oh, and lock-up from Mortara, but he got it stopped. The compromise is, Jack, you have the car that can work around this tightest section of the track where you really focus on turn 15. And clearly the Venturi guys have focused on 15.
And here's Gunther sending one from miles back, locked up. Verne sees him coming. He was looking in his mirrors all the way, and he knew if he wasn't careful, he was getting wiped out there.
That was smart stuff from Jean-Eric Verne. He's got to be kicking himself. I wonder if he was trying to hold on to the regeneration paddle, put more energy in, and to hold on to it later. And you'll just watch how, look how easy it just spins. Yeah, he's still regenerating, and round it goes. And that just shows you the tightrope that all these drivers are on. I mean, Jean-Eric Verne, double champion, spins away. It's not an easy thing any of these drivers are doing today.
Trying to use the brakes to put energy back into the battery so you can go faster for longer. Wehrlein's dropped way back here from Mortara on this lap, and it was in this middle sector, 1.3 seconds. So Wehrlein's made a big mistake in the middle sector.
Has he made a mistake? I saw him looking down. His head is, it looks like he's looking down at the steering. Has he got a problem, or has he made a mistake, Jack?
He's over a second slower than anyone else out there. There's a yellow flag now at turn 7. Oh, and in the wall, and I think that's
DaCosta. Yep.
The DS Techeetah driver has lost his front wing, and he is in the wall at turn 7. Antonio Felix DaCosta out of the race. It looks like he's driving off again, so we might escape without a safety car.
Almost lost it in turn 7.
And Wehrlein saying he almost lost it in turn 7. Carl Wilson-Clark saying, yeah, there's a crash at turn 7 as well. And DaCosta's managed to pull off the track, so we'll keep racing in green conditions, but it's getting treacherous out there. And Wehrlein has dropped back from Mortara, and that mistake could be the one that gives Mortara the advantage, and there he just gets wide and slams into the barriers. Antonio Felix DaCosta in the wall. Mortara still leads the way though.
You've got to say, Antonio Felix DaCosta, class move to get the car off the track, not cause a yellow, because at that point you want your day to end. Got a yellow at turn 4 now. These treacherous track conditions are catching people out left and right. But let's see if Pascal Wehrlein can regroup and go and attack again. Jake Dennis, is he in energy troubles? No, but Oliver Rowland has got 2% less than Nick Cassidy behind him. Nick Cassidy only 0.7 of a second behind, so the battle for the final podium position is on.
Yeah, Cassidy's having a great run. He's got a real shot at 3rd place here, but Edo Mortara has got a real shot at the race win. After that mistake for Pascal Wehrlein, Mortara has got a really strong advantage now, and they come across the line this time, and the lap times are similar again. But look, here's the battle for 3rd. Oliver Rowland in the Nissan, and Nick Cassidy in the purple Envision Virgin car, yet to have a podium in Formula E. This is his rookie season, the youngster from New Zealand, and he is very, very keen on getting through.
And he showed some really good pace, and that's an Audi powertrain in the Envision Virgin car. Oh, and he almost loses it though in 4, right in the middle of the corner. Back end of the car comes round. It's treacherous out there, Jack.
Certainly is. Cassidy we're on board with here coming into turn 7. Oh, onto the grass goes Rowland. Doesn't DaCosta it, but that'll have cost him a little bit of time.
And is Rowland's car damaged? That's the thing. It's one thing to drive at 99% when the car's damaged, but you've got to get up to 100%. It can definitely show. And look at the marbles again on the outside of the corner. That's the rubber just peeling off the tyre as the drivers lean on it.
On board with Cassidy. Left-hander of turn 11.
To the black lines, that's the rubber getting laid down on the circuit. You want to follow those as much as you can.
Wehrlein through the final corner. Eduardo Mortara is leading the way, but he's got a big advantage here in Puebla after this mistake from Pascal Wehrlein. He was right behind him and then got wide on the way in.
Yeah, he was a bit too far to the right through 6, and then that put him offline for 7, but great recovery from him. But it almost looks like it took him a couple of laps, or a couple of corners, to clean the tyres up.
Yeah, because that itself wasn't actually that dramatic a moment, but he came on the radio, said I made a big mistake at turn 7. That was it, but it just escalated from there. And now Eduardo Mortara for the Venturi team, looking to secure his and the team's second win in their Formula E history. Their first and only coming in Hong Kong in season 5 in Formula E's 50th race. That therefore was 26 races ago, because this is race number 78.
Oh, Nick Cassidy flicking the car into turn 8, leaving absolutely no margin for error on the grass that just caught out current drivers' champion Antonio Felix da Costa.
3 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Everybody similar in terms of usable energy. Roland a little less than Cassidy, but they're all going for the sort of same lap target, I would have thought. You can see Jean-Eric Verne in 8th place, the rear view from him as Mitch Evans is trying to get past.
Max Günther in 7th is absolutely flying, a 25.8 that lap. That's a fairly stout lap. He's obviously throwing caution to the wind with all the marbles out there and other people being a bit more cautious, but he's absolutely flying in the BMW.
Eduardo Mortara
yes,
had a great first race in Diriyah, finished in 2nd place, then had a horrible practice crash, couldn't race in race 2. He's then had a load of misfortune, including not being allowed out or the car breaking down before qualifying in Rome and other such dramas. But when he does finish, he finishes well, and he's going to get, by the looks of things, a double podium this weekend, and he becomes a championship contender as Evans tries to get ahead of Verne. They're fighting still over 8th position, but really, really good stuff from Eduardo Mortara and the Rocket Venturi team. They've got the Mercedes EQ powertrain, but much smaller budget. They have to do their own software with the powertrain, and they're doing a really great job in the hands of Eduardo Mortara.
That's a great shot from the back of Jean-Eric Verne's car. Expect the close attentions of the Jaguar behind him, Mitch Evans in the number 20. And he's trying to just get any points he can. He's got 9th so far, 9th pace, 2 points. And he wants more. Again, how close they are in turn 8, trying to be as smooth as possible. This is turn 9. This is a corner that caught Jean-Eric Verne out a few laps ago. There you go. There's the front of a Jaguar. It's a pretty close view. Let's see if he sets up a pass into 11. It'll be brave right now with the treacherous conditions. A small lock-up from Jean-Eric Verne. You saw the puff of smoke.
Evans is right behind him, isn't he? And Cassidy's got Roland. Cassidy's got Roland. Nick Cassidy up into 3rd place ahead of Oliver Roland then at the, presumably then at turn 14, I guess. And the Envision Virgin car is up into 3rd place. We've got 1 minute plus a lap to go as we come across the line now. So 2 laps to go. Roland isn't happy. He's locked up. We're on board with him. And he gets it stopped just about, but that was all or nothing really there, wasn't it, for Oliver Roland? And he's come away with 4th place. So 2 laps to go here in Puebla. Well, and now Evans is going for Verne. They lock up coming into the first corner, and Evans gets wide, and that gets Robin Freins closer to the back of him. So Freins has come from 21st to 10th and is now on the back of Mitch Evans.
And Mitch Evans did all that hard work to close the gap and just got put onto the marbles a little bit, and you saw the gap. But Robin Freins trying to, again, these are the guys that are going to be fighting out, I think, for the championship. So any advantage you can gain, 1 point here or there, I think is going to be critical when we get to the finale later on the season in Berlin.
Mortara, Verline and Cassidy the top 3. Roland in 4th, Dennis in 5th, Lynn, Günther, Verne, Evans and Freins are the top 10. We've got Da Costa, Sims, Nato and De Vries all out of the E-Prix. But here's Eduardo Mortara, winner of the 2010 Formula 3 Championship. He beat Valtteri Bottas, Alexander Sims, Antonio Felix da Costa to that title. A really strong year. Went on to win Macau many, many times. He's won 1 race in Formula E, and now he's starting his final lap on his way to winning his 2nd. 2% energy to go. That should be enough to get him to the line. It's all quite spread out behind in the end, isn't it? Lynn and Günther are quite close together. Yellow flag at turn 7, though, on this final lap. So maybe someone's run into a bit of difficulty. Lock up from Max Günther coming into turn 1 as he's really trying to put the pressure on Alex Lynn. And there is Verline, how frustrated, and looking that all over the back of him. That's Mitch Evans, desperate to get past Verne, and I think that's Blomqvist. Blomqvist has gone straight into the wall at 7. So that's why we've got the yellow flag there. He was running all the way down the order anyway. That shouldn't affect the end of this race because Mortara is already through.
Yeah, through turn 9, through the kink and 10. Let's see Nick Cassidy make the move.
Oh no, this was Roland trying to fight back at him, wasn't it?
Oh, the lock-up, yes, no. Great presence of mind from Nick Cassidy not to cut across back in front of Oliver Rowland. Good job by Oliver Rowland not to get onto the marbles on the outside. Eduardo Mortara, normally been a street course specialist, the bumpier the better. Hong Kong, as you said, Macau Jack, which he won about 3 million times. This is a different type of track, and he has done a masterful job today and yesterday.
One of the friendliest, nicest men in the paddock is about to take his second victory in Formula E. The Mexican fans are on their feet, applauding the Rocket Venturi of Eduardo Mortara, who comes through the final corner, wins in Puebla, and launches himself into championship contention. Brilliant drive from Mortara. Wehrlein across the line in second. Cassidy gets his first podium in third. Roland fourth. The absolute delight in the Venturi garage. There's Max Günther, who finishes in 7th place behind Alex Lynn. And then we've got Vern and Evans. Are they still right together coming out across the line? Vern's out of energy, but he holds the place. And Rast got ahead of Freitz. Rast got Freitz on the final lap. What a drive from the Audi man. Absolutely superb performance.
Yes, I do confirm everything.
And remember, Edo, the marshal will tell you directly to the podium, okay, with the car.
What a performance from Eduardo Mortara, who wins in Puebla.
Shall we speak to him?
Let's have a word with Eduardo Mortara on the radio, winner of round 9 of the championship.
Merci à tout le monde. Merci à toi. Merci à tout le monde. Sans vous, on n'y arrive pas.
The team are just talking
Sans vous, on n'y arrive pas. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
French on the radio.
Boulot. Ça me fait super plaisir, vous avez super bien bossé pendant la pause.
Listen to the crowd noise as well, as they cheer Mortara on. And let's give it a go.
For everything also.
Edo, it's Dario in TV.
Yes,
Gives me
Dario.
great pleasure to say well done. That was a terrific drive. Fantastic, well done.
Wow, what a day. What a weekend, actually. What a weekend for me, for the team. For Mercedes, actually, also. And I'm delighted. The boys did work so much during the break to make sure that we had a better, a more competitive car. I cannot thank them enough.
Fabulous job. Enjoy your win.
Thanks a lot, Dario.
Eduardo Mortara returning to the pit lane, thanking the team, thanking Mercedes EQ, who supply the powertrain. Jerome D'Ambrosio, his first win as part of the management team at Venturi. He and Susie Wolf overseeing that operation. And there is Nick Cassidy pulling up to line up in 3rd spot. It's yet another winner as well in this season of Formula E. That means that we've had 8 winners in 9 races. And here comes Eduardo Mortara up onto the top ramp of the podium. A double podium for Eduardo Mortara this weekend. Eduardo Mortara about to climb out of the car. Nick Cassidy goes over to congratulate him. What a weekend it's been for Rocket Venturi, a double podium finish. Pascal Fellaini, no redemption for him today. A 2nd place finish is good for him in the championship standings. But Rocket Venturi will be delighted with this. For the 2nd time, they and Edo are the winners of a race in ABB FIA Formula E. And it's not that rapturous delight, was it, that we saw from Lucas Degrassi yesterday. It is a calm, confident feeling of, we deserved this win. And they did a great job. Oh, look at that. Pascal Fellaini under investigation for maximum power overuse. Wow, what a turn-up that would be for Pascal Fellaini, because as it stands, he's going up towards the top of the championship contention. Well, we'll keep you up to date with that, obviously as best as we always try to, honestly. Wehrlein finishing in second. So Freins didn't score any points, Da Costa didn't score any points. Ras scored 1 point, so he goes up to 59. Mortara goes 10 points clear of Robin Freins at the top of the championship with this win. He goes up to 72 points. And I think Mortara will have broken away a 10-point lead at the top of the standings after this. We'll give you the official standings before too long. But this is a big, big result for Eduardo Mortara. These are the results after round 9 of the World Championship, the CBMM Niobium Puebla E-Prix. Eduardo Mortara taking the win. 2.2 seconds clear of Pascal Fellaini, and Nick Cassidy is classified as 3rd. Oliver Rowland 4th, Jake Dennis 5th, Lynn, Gunther, Verne, Evans and Ras the top 10. Robin Freins and Sam Bird 11th and 12th. Then we got Van Dorn, Buemi, Eriksson, Sede Camera, Lotterer, Degrassi, Blomqvist. Well, actually, Blomqvist was the last of the first of the retirements. Sims, Turvey, Nato, De Vries, all retiring. So Eduardo Mortara, for the 2nd time in his formulary career, is a winner.
Edo Mortara, a sensational weekend for you. Double podium and a win today. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, Mexico is, I got no voice anymore actually from shouting. Mexico is very good to me. I mean, I remember last, in season 5, we had already a podium in Mexico City, and yesterday was already very good. But today, what can I say? I'm speechless.
I mean, for most of the race, you had incredible pace, but there were a few moments that Pascal Fellaini put the pressure on.
Well, he had very good pace too, and he kept me under immense pressure, especially, I remember 10 laps to the end, he had more energy, so we had to find a way to save a little bit of energy too, in order to get attacked and still at the pace. On top of that, I don't know, the track was falling apart, so it was extremely tricky, almost, crashed a couple of times, but I'm extremely happy for this win.
Brilliant. Huge congratulations to you and the team. Thank you very much.
Edo Mortara taking the win, his 2nd win in Formula E, and this was the moment he came across the line to take the checkered flag. Jerome D'Ambrosio, a race winner himself in Formula E, a race winner himself in Mexico. And now a race winner as assistant team principal at the Rocket Venturi team. Chaos.
Well, Pascal Fellaini on the podium, where you should have been yesterday. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels good. Pace was really strong. It was a bit close in the beginning, if it's 1 lap more or less. And then when we switched to 1 lap less, the pace was picking up massively. It's a shame. I just when I pushed him behind Edo, destroyed my front tires a little bit, and then it was hard for me to follow. I almost crashed once in turn 7, and then the pace was dropping a bit, but nevertheless, today was a good day for us, or the whole weekend was good for us. Yesterday our victory was taken away from us, so very happy to be back today on the podium.
Really exciting stuff for you and the team, and the championship fight starts now. Thank you very much, Pascal Fellaini.
But obviously, I must point out, he is under investigation for maximum power overuse, which is usually a spike in power. So whether he was in attack mode using more than he was allowed, or in fan boost using more than he was allowed, or in normal mode using more than he was allowed. So we'll get to the bottom of that when we can. But another driver out there with his 1st Formula E podium, Nick Cassidy.
Nick Cassidy, a huge moment in your Formula E career, your 1st ever podium.
Yeah, huge. I'm super happy. I mean, after last night, my guys stayed here all night replacing the car for me after my mistake yesterday, and so it's a really nice way to repay them. I think they've been doing a great job all year. Honestly, I've had such a frustrating start to this championship, and after yesterday I was pretty down, but you've got 2 options in this sport. You quit or you come back strong, and I took the 2nd.
Excellent, that's what we like to see. Thanks very much. Enjoy the celebrations. Nick Cassidy.
Nick Cassidy finishing in 3rd place, had a great race, Nick Cassidy. He managed to get past Oliver Rowland in quite an unusual position here, around the outside, coming through the left-hander of turn 14. Really quite a remarkable move from Cassidy, and suddenly he was ahead of Oliver Rowland. But it's Eduardo Mortara who has taken the victory, moved to the top of the championship. So, as it stands, Eduardo Mortara will move 10 points clear of Robin Freins at the top of the championship. A huge margin in the process, or the history, I suppose, of Formula E. 10 points is huge. Delphine Biscay, who is up on the podium, the team manager of the Venturi team. And now we will move on to the third place driver, Nick Cassidy, after a strong drive.
Cassidy from Ambition Virgin Racing.
He's had pace this year, Cassidy. He's led races. Hasn't been able to turn it into a result, but his mechanics were up until 4 AM this morning, fixing his car after he bent it yesterday. Fellaini still under investigation, but he's going to enjoy this moment up on the podium. For the race winner, for the second time in Formula E, it's Eduardo Mortara. He's shown pace so often, has finished in the points every time he's been in Mexico. This is his third Mexico podium, and this time it is the top step for the 34-year-old Italian-Swiss racer, born in Geneva, now on the top step of the championship, and 10 points clear at the top of the championship. And now the Monegasque manufacturer Venturi. The anthem for them. You can see the emotion for Edo on the top step. Top step of the podium then, and victory for the Venturi team.
CBMM Niobium Automobile responsible for North America, celebrating with Delphine.
And then Delphine Biscay getting the trophy for the Venturi team. Had a long career in motorsport, has Delphine. She's been with Venturi since 2009. Before that, she was part of the Williams Grand Prix engineering, working on the KERS system and designing suspension parts, then moved to Venturi, and she receives the trophy. Jose Abed hands out the podium for the trophy for Nick Cassidy, his first podium trophy in Formula E. He's got a pole position trophy. Daniela Luzanin, head of ABB Formula E partnership, gives the trophy to Pascal Fellaini.
We are now inviting to the stage a young person representing the Sistema Estatal.
And this is Joan Poblano Gomez.
Winner trophy. Please welcome Joan Poblano Gomez to congratulate
Handing over the trophy to Eduardo Mortara. He's had some of the moments of the season, Mortara. Overtake of the season in Diriyah, save of the season in Rome, probably. But now, the top step in the win. And now he will take the podium selfie. Trying to get the camera working. Oh, Pascal's going to help him. There we go. Good job. And there's the top three. We'll get there in the end. You do it. I'll do it. Pascal will do it. He's good on the Insta.
And to congratulate our champion, here's a special gift.
And there is the celebrations that begin. But Beatriz Sanchez has not been given, has not given him his Moet yet. Here we go. Now he's got it. And finally, Eduardo Mortara gets his bottle of Moet. Cheers us with Fellaini. And he wants to drink it first. And now the celebrations begin for Mortara. Drenching Delphine. 10 points clear at the top of the championship, Eduardo Mortara. We've seen people 1 point, 2 point, 1 point clear at the top of the standings. But well might he celebrate. The next race in New York City. And Mortara will arrive there, 10 points clear at the top of the standings. But he'll be in Group 1. So we'll see what he can do when he's up there, first on track. But for today, it's a superb drive from Eduardo Mortara to take the victory. Let's go down to Nikki Shields.
Well, I'm here with Jerome D'Ambrosio, standing in at the moment for Susie Wolf. What an amazing weekend. I mean, where to start? I mean, but first of all, let's talk about the win, because the performance that Edo gave throughout the entire race was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it's been I think it's been an amazing race from the whole guys. You know, in Formula E, the work that goes in the background, you know, with the engineers and so on to manage those results and to stay on top of everything is just incredible. But Edo drove an absolutely fantastic, race. But to be honest with you, all weekend was fantastic. It was great in qualifying yesterday and today, both races, 2 podiums. So he's definitely been on top of it, and it's fantastic for the whole team.
I mean, Edo mentioned, I think it was when Dario was speaking to him in the car, you know, how much work the team has really put in since the last race in Monaco. I mean, tell us more. What's the focus been?
Well, I think, you know, we've had potential, we've had pace and performance all throughout the season. It was putting it together. You know, putting it together in Formula E is a challenge, and we worked hard to be able to make sure that we would be able to put everything together and you know, don't do anything crazy or out of the box, but just deliver the weekend, and that's what the whole team managed to do.
And, you know, taking home so many points this weekend really puts you in contention for this championship fight. So basically your biggest rivals are now Mercedes, who obviously supply you your powertrain.
No, I think, you know, at the moment, I think it's way too early to think about championship overall. I think it's great to be up there. In Formula E, when you can take points, you need to take them. That's very important, but it's still 3 weekends to go, 6 races to go, so we need to celebrate tonight and tomorrow morning get our heads down and get back at it, because there's going to be, as I said, 3 weekends, lots of points for grabs, and we need to make sure that we can perform also on those weekends. But yeah, so far for the next few hours for tonight, we'll definitely celebrate and enjoy.
Are you going to swap the taste of champagne for a bit of tequila, maybe a few margaritas?
For sure.
True Mexican style?
For sure.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Huge congratulations to you and the team, Nikki. And to Susie Wolf as well.
Yeah, well, award is also for Susie, because obviously she's put this team together for the last 3 years, and it's a pity she couldn't be here with us this weekend. But yeah, so a big thanks to her for putting us and giving us the tool to perform like she's done the last 3 years.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she is celebrating. Thank you very much, Jerome D'Ambrosio. Right, back to you, Vernon.
I love it, actually, Nikki. Wonderful performance. Wonderful to hear from Jerome D'Ambrosio talking about the story of the team and how much they have grown over the last few years. When Susie Wolf came over, it was not a complete overhaul, but a very, very big change, a very, very big analysis of what was going right and what was going wrong in the team. And Jerome D'Ambrosio has been a huge part of that, and I'm sure he'll head over. There he is now, joining these celebrations. And been at a few times where Jerome D'Ambrosio has been celebrating, and I can assure you, he does it all right. He's all right in celebrating, Jerome D'Ambrosio. There are the team celebrating. Everybody else joining in as well. Eduardo Mortara taking the victory. And of course, in there as well is his race engineer, Laurent Ferracu. And after scoring no points at their home race in Monaco 6 weeks ago, they are now race winners and double podium finishers in Puebla. Norman Nato will be in there as well somewhere, I'm sure. He retired from this race fairly early on. But Eduardo Mortara with a 10-point lead at the top of the championship is really quite remarkable. I've made the point a few times, but behind Eduardo Mortara, it's really, really close. René Rast gets the fastest lap again. That's his third fastest lap of the season so far. He only had one before yesterday, but he's done a clean sweep. So, and he went from last to 10th. So good drive today from René Rast, almost in contention for driver of the day, to be perfectly honest with you. And he is, we're going to end up having the award for the Tag Heuer fastest lap at the end of the season. I'll stop making that joke now, I've done it a few times. Wonderful circuit here at Puebla. It's provided us a lot of entertainment, hasn't it, over the last couple of days. A shame we can't be in Mexico City, a temporary hospital due to the global pandemic. But this facility, which has not seen an event as big as this ever, actually, has been a great host. Heineken Cool moment going to Oliver Rowland. The Heineken 00 Keep Cool Award, securing pole position earlier on today, Oliver Rowland. And that is the reason he has won that online vote. And he'll get a bit of Heineken after this one. 0.0 though, so he could have had it before the race. Wouldn't surprise me if he did, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not judging Oliver Rowland here. But back to my point about the points. Mortara's 10 points clear at the top of the standings. But then there's 3 points separating Freins, Da Costa, Rast, Evans and De Vries. So that's a huge chunk clear. And now Mortara is the most popular man in Puebla, isn't he? And here's a look after round 9 of the championship. Mortara, 72 points, 10 points clear of Robin Freins. Antonio Felix Da Costa, third in the standings, but look how close it is behind Mortara. Jake Dennis moves up into 8th place. He's still quite a way off the championship lead, but still less than 20 points, 18 points adrift. Big points for Nick Cassidy as well. But what a season it has been so far in the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. As far as the teams are concerned, that is going to very much help the Rocket Venturi squad. They climb up to 6th place. It's still Mercedes EQ who are at the top, but they're 3 points clear of DS Techeetah as we get ready for the next race. 3 weeks' time, make sure you join us in New York City. What a weekend we're going to be in for in the Big Apple.
Nick Cassidy, congratulations, 3rd place. We're going to celebrate, but just tell us what it was like out there, from 8th to 3rd.
Yeah, thanks very much, man. It was really nice. I mean, I feel a bit guilty because I made a pretty average mistake yesterday and gave the boys a lot of work last night. So to come back today was mega for them, and also for myself a bit. You know, I've not had a great run the start of the year in Formula E, but I've felt like at times we've been super fast, and so I've been frustrated that nothing's really come of it. And today's more of a relief. Yeah.
So you say you gave the team a bit of work last night. Describe the size of the job they had to do, because it was pretty mammoth, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's massive, mate. You know, it wasn't a big shunt. I clipped the wall, but the angle the tyre went into the chassis meant that we had to change the chassis. And on one of these things, as you know, it's not a 2-minute job. So, yeah, appreciate their work.
Yeah, I bet they appreciate your result too.
All right, Darren, I'm just going to ask you to step to one side because, Nick, we're going to show your overtake. This is your overtake with Oliver Rowland. It was really feisty, really competitive between you guys. Can you see that in the sunshine? Because the sun's really kicking up. Just talk us through it, Nick.
That's when he locked up and almost hit you in the back, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually surprised he went for it there because he made a mistake.
There you go.
He clipped the inside, didn't he? Turn 9, he clipped inside wall.
Yes, there you go. And then
well, that really worked, didn't it? You know, with the sun belted down, can't see anything.
Yeah, but then into 13, he ran wide into the marbles, and I got through. But I was about 1.5% up on energy, I thought, or I've been told. So I didn't expect him to have a go at me into 1, but it worked out.
Historically, the Virgin Envision team, Sylvain Philippi, has built a real bond between everyone in there. And is that why the disappointment is it lay so heavy on your shoulders last night?
I wouldn't say it's just that. I mean, I was leading the race at Rome off pole and went out at turn 1 through a mistake, not of my own, but we're a team. You don't come out blaming anyone else. That's part of the procedure and that's part of racing. And it's just opportunities like that had kind of slipped away. You know, I come into the weekend still 18th in the championship, but I didn't feel we were an 18th car. So hopefully today that changed a bit.
Nick, you've won in pretty much everything you've done. I mean, you went over to Japan and just were lifting trophies for fun. What has been the challenge of Formula E? Why is it so difficult?
Man, to put a day together here is not easy, you know. I think a lot of guys can do laps. Everyone's quick on a lap, but to put everything together on a single day is not easy. I think, you know, myself, I'm a bit guilty of always wanting to go for pole because of where, it sounds cocky to say that, but what's happened in the past, you know, if
not
you're
at
always... And so there have been sessions this year where I should have taken maybe an 8th or a 7th, but I've tried to go for pole and ended up further back. And today was a bit of a change in approach.
Nick, thank you so much. Go and celebrate. Get involved, my friend. I know you will. We'll see you in New York. Congratulations again.
Great job, Nick.
Thank you. Pascal Fellaini.
Thanks, Bernard. Yeah, I am here with Pascal Fellaini. Let's focus on the positives before we get into the recent announcement. On the podium, which is exactly where you should have been yesterday, of course, but the pace of the car has been a real turnaround, hasn't it, in Mexico?
Yeah, it was amazing the whole weekend. You know, the time between the last race and this race, we used really well and made a big step forward. I'm so happy. Yeah, and the team can be so proud. You know, the relationship is getting better and better, and I understand better how to drive the car, and the team understands what I need from the car. So yeah, amazing. I have a great team behind me, and this weekend we were yeah, dominant, P1 and P2 in the qualifyings and P1 and 2 in the races.
So yeah, many things we can look forward to.
So is there kind of a moment, you know, when it comes to your team and your car that it feels like everything just clicks? And does it feel like everything is now just clicked into place?
Yeah, I mean, we had strong races in the first half of the season as well, but probably not so consistent, also a couple of issues. But anyway, we scored a podium as well in Rome, so it was good. But just this weekend, how we executed was amazing, session by session. And yeah, that's very good, and we need to keep this momentum, and yeah.
Now, just before we started this interview, I know you have been made aware of the news that you are under investigation, unfortunately, due to a power spike in the race. Can you tell us anything more than that?
No, I don't know. I just heard it like 2 minutes ago as well. Normally that happens over a bump or something on the straights when you're on full throttle. So yeah, normally it's something on the software, not much you can do as a driver. But yeah, would be a surprise if we are not again under investigation today after yesterday. So let's see.
Well, fingers crossed it's under investigation and they find out there's not a problem at all. Good luck. Thanks very much, Pascal Fellaini. Back to you, Vernon.
Thanks, Nikki. Our winner. Welcome, Edo. This is what happens when a driver wins a Formula E race. We were joking earlier. I was like, hi, guys, lovely to see you. We talked prior to the race and you were quietly confident that you had something kind of... how shall I say, under your seat that you were going to use. The plan was right, everything worked today. It was a superb drive, and to hold off the Porsche of Pascal was something special. It was great to watch, honestly. Everyone was on the edge of their seats.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I don't know if I was like that confident. Maybe I looked more confident.
You felt it? Yeah. I got a vibe from you.
Yeah.
Good poker face, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I knew that today it was going to be a proper challenge. It was very hot, so we knew already from yesterday that for the tires, this track is extremely difficult. We put a lot of energy, a lot of temperature, so it was very easy to do mistakes. We didn't do any today. Yeah, very glad actually to be standing on the top spot. It's amazing. I cannot believe it.
So you're leading the race, things are going well, you've got good energy, the tires are feeling okay, and you see this Porsche getting bigger in your mirrors. What are you thinking at that point?
Oh yeah, I mean, there is a sense of not really panicking, but urgency, let's say. You need to increase the pace.
The heart rate goes up a bit, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. And I knew that he had more energy, so I need to find a way to basically sort of like go quicker, but also like save even more energy than him. Don't know actually how we did that, but yeah, we did it in the last 10 laps. He put me under immense pressure, but in the end, you know, everything worked out, and I'm extremely happy to be here.
Edo, go and celebrate, my friend.
Well deserved.
Well and truly deserved. A fantastic performance. I would give you a big round of applause because you deserve it, and of course to your team and Susie as well. Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Dario, that was a superb performance, an absolutely blinding race from Edo to hold off the Porsche. I mean, let's just hope that he can keep that consistency and carry that through to New York, which is going to be our next race. And we cannot wait after that and after Monaco to get to New York City.
Love in New York City.
Formula E is heading back to Brooklyn.
And we go green in New York City. Brilliant move from the man from Maastricht. Whoa, look at that. There's chaos at turn 1. Oh, they're still side by side. Formula E can't believe what it's seeing. This is robust racing, isn't it?
Well, joining me in the pit lane is Jack Nicholls. Jack, another fantastic race. I mean, brilliant to see Pascal Fellaini back on the podium, but obviously speaking to him just now, I mean, the disappointment in his tone of voice, knowing that there could be another penalty hanging over him. I mean, it must be really hard.
Well, and you're in that situation where usually a power overuse is a power overuse. There you go. That's done. That's what it is, and you're going to get, honestly, disqualified from the race. Is what usually happens. We see it to, or at least a time penalty. So it's tough for him. I don't really know what to say about it. It's quite remarkable. But the thing is, he hasn't really moved into...
luck,
exactly.
That's for sure, because, you know, despite all of that, he's still had the performance. He's showed, you know, he deserves those wins. But I guess the rules are the rules, as we go back to. I think Alan McNish started at the top of the show saying, you know, there's nothing you can really do about it. You have to still race within the rules. And, you know, bad luck happens to all of these drivers. We've seen it to all of them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's just one of those things that happens, and we've seen it happen so many times. Oliver Rowland was leading the race in Rome, and it happened. The thing is, it hasn't quite launched Wehrlein up into the top of the championship in quite the way that it would have done if he'd have won the race yesterday, because Mortara has taken such a big lead now. 10 points clear. We're here at the Porsche team. I can't see anyone at the moment that we could ask, because they're probably...
they had to go to the FIA.
Yeah, I think they're arguing with the stewards about it. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that. But the big thing is Mortara moving 10 points clear at the top of the championship. That's huge, because then it's, what did I say, 3 points with the next 5 drivers or something. But Mortara has that gap now.
And it's really interesting because we came into this weekend again with, you know, the likes of Robin Freins, Antonio Felix da Costa, Nick de Vries, Stoffel van Dorn as the championship contenders, and actually it's completely changed. It's not the case at all. So suddenly it's like we've got to look ahead to New York City and be like, right, okay, well, we've got a double header there. Which of those drivers is going to start to pull away? Because someone's got to start to do it, haven't they?
But that's why I think this 10-point chunk is big for Mortara, because he can go to New York City and he'll be in the group with all the other top people that you've just mentioned. And if he scores 1 point and Rast scores 1 point and da Costa scores 2 points, he's still going to have an 8-point lead at the top of the championship. So I think those are the big things on which this is going to swing. But Eduardo Mortara, for I think only the first time this season, he's going to be out in qualifying Group 1, because he should have been in the second race of the season, but he couldn't even take part in it because he had the reliability problem. And we talk about luck for Wehrlein as well. Mortara's had a lot of bad luck, and it's been a real frustration for him. But now he's 10 points clear at the top of the championship.
So there you go. You can see Emil Lindsay waiting to go into the FIA office to find out what's going on. So at the moment, we don't know what's going on with Pascal Wehrlein. But let's go back to Eduardo Mortara. Like Jack was saying, he's now 10 points clear at the top of the championship. And we were having a conversation that, why are we only just talking about Eduardo Mortara? All right, albeit he's had 2 podiums this weekend, but his worst finish has been 12th in Monaco. 2 DNFs, and it did not start in Saudi Arabia. Top 10s under the radar.
Yeah, absolutely. But what we end up talking about is we talk about the guys on pole. We're talking about the guys, you know, who win the races. We're not talking about Alex Lynn, Max Günther, who finished, you know, 6th and 7th today, because we're talking about Edo Mortara here. Big result. Finally, big result. Consistency helps to win the championship, but we're interested in the guys on the podium, and that's what gets us all excited. That's what gets the people at home excited too.
With the Mercedes powertrain, which is really interesting, because Mercedes this weekend struggled a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And I should say that this amazing job that the consistent drivers are doing, the Max Günther, the Alex Lins, that's a great job. But it's just we tend to focus on the podium finishers. But yeah, great job by that Venturi team, absolutely. And this is not an Edo Mortara type track. He's Hong Kong, he's Macau, he's tight bouncing circuits, terrible surfaces. This is more fast and flowing, and he still won.
All right, I'm just going to have a quick look. Excuse me for walking out of shot. Yeah, it looks like Emil Lindsay has gone into the FIA shed, as we'll call it, the office. What you've got to do is please follow our social channels at Formula E on Twitter, our YouTube, wherever you get your Formula E news. Please dive on there because we want you to find out what's going on as quickly as possible. So all our channels will be updated. Let's bring in Jack Nicholls.
He's looking at his phone.
Yeah,
he's getting updated.
I was checking our
social
media channels.
Listen, guys, I just want to say something. Earlier on during this race, I watched it in the team and crew catering with lots of different people from, you know, all the teams. Friends. You guys were awesome today. You were absolutely brilliant. It was so entertaining from start to finish. It really was. I mean, it's not necessarily you guys, but the way the teams and the drivers really executed this track in Puebla.
I had a quicker word with Nick Cassidy just then, and because after this morning he wasn't having a good time, and he said, I think I might retire from driving.
It's a bit premature.
I know, and he was like, actually, no, this was great. And I said, it looked tough. He was like, it was tough, because it was non-stop. No safety car, no full course yellow, which is so rare in Formula E. It was non-stop, 45 minutes plus 1 lap, and it was tough.
I loved commentating on that race today.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, you could tell, honest, you could really tell it was fabulous. It really was. We were on the edge of our seats, we were whooping and hollering.
And now we'll do it all again in New York City in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, with a new guy at the top of the table, Eduardo Mortara. It's been
wait.
Venturi's weekend, double podium. Congratulations to those guys. And like Jack said, we will see you next time out in New York City. See you then.
Fabuloso, 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 fabuloso. Siempre cloro, nunca mitolín.
And we go green in Puebla. Eduardo Mortara wins in Puebla.